The new Antimatter cards are here in NBA 2K Mobile, so let's jump right into the catalog. The new tier is being kicked off with Raymond Felton, Keith Van Horn, Kendrick Perkins, Ben Simmons, Cam Whitmore, Peyton Pritchard, Herbert Jones, Manuel Quickly, y'all already know, Knicks Nation always, Cole Anthony, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Colin Sexton, Robert Williams, Bobby Portis Jr., Wally Serviak, Keegan Murray, Dylan Brooks, Norman Powell, Brian Scalabrine, Trevor Ariza, World Be Free, Miles Turner, Agauskas, who's craftable, Terry Rozier, Jalen Williams, Elton Brand, Charles Oakley. We also got Michael Porter Jr., Jaden McDaniels, Jason Richardson, Marc Gasol, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Maxey, who's craftable, Kyle Kuzma, Marcus Aldridge, Brandon Roy, Bradley Beal, Dikembe Mutombo, Nick Van Exel, who's actually a pretty good card, Mikal Bridges, who's craftable, but it's not a Knicks Bridges. What's good with that? John Morant. So we finally got a high rarity John Morant. That's good to see. Tyrese Halliburton, who's craftable. Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Vince Carter. All right, we're starting to see some heat now. Dennis Rodman, best rebounder in the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Brunson. Let's go, Knicks Nation. Giannis, who's craftable, massive W. Paul Pierce, and Yao Ming. And all of these foundation cards are over 500K, which is incredible. There was a total of 50 new Antimatter cards, and the craftable players are really good for this tier. And there are some gems in here, old school gems, and some new stars for the NBA. Definitely a mix of some new faces and returning faces as well. So pretty good so far. And you got an opportunity to craft a free Antimatter Yao Ming, who is the set reward after crafting these 5 players. So in order to get that Yao Ming, you got to craft the Arcane Crystal Chris Middleton, Grant Hill, David Robinson, Jeremy Lin, and Karl Malone. In addition to the new Antimatter tier, we got a new theme called Musicians. It's being kicked off by Zircon Marcus Smart. So the lowest tier now for new themes is Zircon. And for those of you that didn't make the highest tier yet, that means a lot of the lower tier cards have higher power as well, which should give you an opportunity to quickly catch up on these tiers as well. So the first card is the Marcus Smart, who's craftable. He's got a Gear Master. Just like the past themes, the lowest tier has Gear Master, and it gives you a great opportunity to grind gear inside the game because of the Gear Master ability. We also got Lonzo Ball, craftable. For the Cobalts, we got Daniel House Jr., Mason Plumlee. Now these players have clutch time. Marvin Bagley, who's craftable. For the Garnets, it's being kicked off by Brandon Clark, Lou Williams, Ron Artest. For Aquamarines, we got Drew Gooden, who's craftable. JaVale McGee, Baron Davis, Joe Smith. I haven't seen in a while. He's kicking off the Purple Sapphires. Steven Jackson. That should be a cool card to try out. Victor Oladipo is a defensive gem. He's craftable. We got Wayman Tisdale. That's a throwback player. He's kicking off the Rose Quartz. He's also craftable. Stevie Franchise. We got the Bunnies. Andre Drummond, who's a great rebounder, underrated center. Cedric Ceballos is kicking off the Arcane Crystals. He's a great dunker. We got a Tony Parker, who's craftable. Aaron Gordon. And then for the new tier, the Antimatter, we have a new Dwight Howard, who has Prime Player. Donovan Mitchell, Prime Player. Allen Iverson, so we get a new AI, Prime Player. And then there's a new craftable Damian Lillard, which I'm very excited about that, because Damian is one of the best point guards in the game. And if you didn't get a chance to get the GOAT Stephen Curry, this Dame is just as good. So let's see what the upcoming events are, and I'll go over some tips on how to play those events and what players to use in your lineups. So it says the new theme is players that have been involved in music. Starting July 18th, there's going to be a new event. That's right, folks. We're getting new content, and it's not even a new season yet. I know people were a bit surprised that we got a new tier, but we got new content as well. There's a new game mode. That's a W. So the final reward for that event, which is called Hotspots, is going to be Allen Iverson. Then you got a chance to get the Aaron Gordon and Steve Francis. The next event after that is 3v3 Gauntlet, which is a great event to grind. That's going to have a final reward of Damian Lillard. So you got a chance to get a free Damian Lillard as well. Another massive W. You also got a chance to get Cedric Ceballos in that event and Andre Drummond. Now, there are some bullet points, right? It says includes the debut of mini 3v3 Gauntlet, which starts today. That's another new event. Many weekly events are changing as well. And then next week's going to be a mini King of the Court. Mini events now have 5 progression rewards. I like that a lot. And you get an extra foundation card as a reward. So it makes it a lot easier to help you upgrade cards now. Another incentive to grind the mini events, folks. There's also going to be more information released in regards to hotspots. I personally have no idea what this event is about either. So I'm looking forward to this information. And when I get it, y'all know I'm going to make a video about it and go over the details and try to explain it the best way I can. So now that we went over the events, let's go over some strategies that will help you get these top rewards. Now, before we get into the musician cards, I'm still surprised that there's no Shaquille O'Neal in this team. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is right there with Damian Lillard as far as some of the best rappers in NBA history. As far as the point guards you need for this event, you can see which ones are craftable. So you can craft Lonzo Ball. He only takes 1 collectible. He should be the easiest one to craft. He's also a Gear Master. That's a card that you can use later on to grind shoes for the Chicago Bulls. And I also think Lonzo's a pretty good card for head-to-head. He's a sleeper, a good 3-point shooter, and most importantly, he's got the height and he's a great defender. If you don't want to craft Lonzo, you can craft Tony Parker. Unless you're a Spurs fan, I wouldn't craft Tony Parker. There's better options, of course. Steve Francis is the first event reward for the hotspots event for the highest 3 tiers. So that's a point guard option you can use as well. And that's an easy reward to get. The first tier is usually the fastest to unlock. So he's a very good, viable option. And if you don't want to wait for 3v3 Gauntlet to get Dame, he's craftable too. For shooting guard, you got 3 choices. You got Marcus Smart, who I think is another good choice. Only 1 collectible. Same thing, Gear Master, so you can work on building up shoes for the Grizzlies. He's a top tier defender as well. Players like him will help you guard against Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry. I'm not going to tell you he's going to lock him down, but he will give him some trouble. We got Lou Williams, who's instant offense. That's somebody who's only 3 collectibles, so he's easy to craft as well. And then Victor Oladipo is a good choice too. Good defender, pretty decent shooter, real good athleticism. He's a bit of a gem in this game. There are no craftable small forwards. And for the highest 3 tiers in the game, there are no small forwards as event rewards in the first event, but for the second event, you can grind into the 3rd tier to get the Cedric Ceballos. So you have to play with 80% style bonus for most of the 2 events. Unless you're going to use courtside pass Klay Thompson or LeBron James. They're both high tier cards. When maxed out, they're even better for your team, and they both give you 10% style bonus. Power forward, there are 3 craftable players. Marvin Bagley's craftable. He only takes 2 collectibles. And remember, you can get these collectibles from both of the mini events. Drew Gooden's craftable as well. He's a little bit more expensive on the crafting side because you need the rings and 6 collectibles. But he is a good player off the pick and roll. He's a good mid-range shooter, and he's a decent rebounder as well. And then you got Wayman Tisdale, who's also another craftable player too. Now, if you don't want to craft any power forwards, the second reward for the first event hotspots is going to be Aaron Gordon. So if you play with 60% style bonus, you can use Aaron Gordon, or you can try to get 70% style bonus by using the courtside pass Giannis or the courtside pass Chet Holmgren. Now for center, there are no craftable players either. So that means for the first event, you're going to have to use a courtside pass player at center. But there's some really good choices, right? You got the Shaquille O'Neal that you can use, or you can use the Victor Wembanyama. And that will be just for the first event, because for the second event, Andre Drummond is the first reward that you can use for center. The set reward for the musicians theme is the Allen Iverson. And I gotta admit, I'm very surprised at the power on these musician cards. I was not expecting the theme cards to go up that much. These are insane. 700k power almost is crazy. So the first card that you're going to need is Tony Parker, Wayman Tisdale, Victor Oladipo, Drew Gooden, and Lou Williams, and you can get the Allen Iverson from the set rewards. All right, so there you have it, folks. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about the new Antimatter tier? And are you hyped for the new musicians theme? Drop those comments down below. And if you could, slap a like on the video and subscribe for more NBA 2K mobile content. As always, I appreciate the support. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay ballin'.